Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppers today, drinking more lager from Franconia. This one I got from Jason, or actually I bought it on Bier aus Franken, but Jason helped me get it, as with all the other Franconian beers lately, so thanks a ton, Jason. This is one I picked up just because of nostalgia, but this is from Kitzmann, and this is their Bergkirchweihbier. This is a Festbier, and you're thinking, oh, Oktoberfest. No, for Bergkirchweih. The thing is, in Germany, there is many different festivities similar to Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is just the famous one, the one that's heavily branded. If you want to go and experience a real German beer fest, you should go to something like Bergkirchweih or Bergkirchweih, because it's not as touristy. And it's not, filled with like all kinds of overpriced, touristy gimmicks. I mean, it's still more expensive because it's festivities and everything, but it's just quite a different story than the classic festival in Munich, the Oktoberfest. So I've actually been to the Bergkirchweih. I've not been to Oktoberfest, but I know from people that it's a bit more commercial and touristy, but I'd love to go sometime anyways. But this is a great festival. It's held in the city of Erlangen. It's very close to Bamberg. You can get there by train. And it's on this massive hill, very similar to what they do with the beer killers in Franconia. So it's in Franconia, and it's basically a hill with loads of beer killers. And it's held on this hill. There's like lots of different, you just walk around. There's lots of different booths for different brewers that have an entrance to like a keller area where you go and you get a Stein or a Maß. So a half liter or a liter glass of whatever beers they have. Some will have some stronger beers. Some will brew some official kind of fest beers for the occasion. And you go have fun. There's music. There is lots of different foods. There's a couple different rides as is showcased here on the label. And it's just a great time. And it was quite funny. I tried this beer there, and I remember enjoying it. It's a 5.9% fest beer. They use Perle, Tradition, and Taurus hops in it, and both crystal or caramel and Pilsner malts. But being there, I have a funny story. So this was with my previous place of employment. I had this beer back in, I guess it was 17 or 16. And that's when I had this beer the first time, and I haven't had it since. So we were doing this bus tour around Franconia, and also a little bit outside of Franconia. We were staying in Bamberg, and then we had this bus around with loads of different people going around visiting breweries and stuff. It was great fun. And then one of the trips was to Erlangen to visit the Bergkirchweih. And you were in charge yourself of making it to the bus. We had a deadline that's like, at this and this time, the bus leaves. And I was there with some colleagues, and it was just, so much fun. You're sitting there, you're talking to all the Germans, and it was so much fun because you got to meet so many local Germans who were really excited to talk about what this was about. So you had so much fun. You drank your beers in the big mugs, and you had your sausage, and it was so nice. And you're sitting under the chastain trees on the hill, and it was magical. Then all of a sudden, it just started downpouring like crazy. And then I was sitting with my group of friends, and we talked about, and colleagues talked about we should go back to the bus so we could make it. And I said, I want to go to the toilet. And I said it in Danish, and my colleagues were not Danish, and they knew a little bit of Danish. And one of them actually spoke Danish well, but for some reason, it was actually a German. It was Tom. You've seen it on the channel. He heard it as I said, I'm going to the bus. So he thought I left for the bus. So I went to the toilet, came back, and no one was there. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was walking around looking for them, and all of a sudden, time's up. And it was like a sharp deadline. If you're not there, the bus leaves. You got to find your way down back to another city, Bamberg, to the hotel yourself. I was like, fuck. And it's just pouring down. And I ran down towards where the bus was, and it was gone. I was like, fuck. And it's pouring, and it sucks. So I just sprinted down to the train station in Erlangen. And I got down to the train station, and I tried to buy a ticket to go with the train back to Bamberg. And it was out of order. And then some very kind Germans saw that I was fumbling around with all this stuff, and they were like, "Do you need any help?" And they were dressed in the official like attire with the Dirndl and lederhosen and all that. And I was like, "Yeah, I actually need a ticket to Bamberg." And they're like, "Oh, we're from Bamberg. You can just have one of ours. We have a spare ticket." And one of them had a pass or something. So that was amazing. They were kind enough to give me a ticket. We hung out. They had some beers. We drank them on the train. And then I was like, fuck, I don't even have the key to the hotel room. The guys have the key. And I couldn't get a hold of them because both of their phones were out of power, the ones I had numbers on. So I couldn't get a hold of anyone. I was like, well, chances are, I can't get into the hotel because you had to use a key to enter. It was a hotel. It was Bräu Spezial, one of the breweries we stayed at. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do. And they're like, well, if you want some power on your phone and hang out and drink some more beers, you can come with us. We're having an after party. So I joined these Germans I've known for like 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes on that train ride. I was like, okay, and I went to their apartment and we shared a lot of different local beers and lots of different local hard liquor, some different schnapses that was made locally, and had a great time. And it was getting later. It's like, okay, I better try and go back to the hotel. They must be back now. I went back to the brewery, went back, and no one was there. And I was like, where the hell could they be? And then a brewery there called Festbier has a bar, a heavy metal rock bar. It's like, oh, Tom loves heavy metal. Maybe they're at that bar. And then I walked down there, opened the door, and right in front of the bar, Tom was sitting there with the other colleague. And they're just like, they thought I was like dead or something because they were like, what happened to Peter? And it was like, Jesus has arisen, because I came back. So I didn't die. I came back from the dead. And it was just such a fun experience, especially because you found out how nice people can be. Like, I was standing there as a foreigner, knowing nothing, and people were just like welcoming me into their home. It was such an experience, and it was so much fun. Like, the Germans are like a really nice and hospitable people. That was what I kind of wanted to just talk about with that story. Made this video long, but let's drink some Bergkirchweihbier for the first time since then. So pours a nice color here. It is like slightly golden. It's yellow with like a golden hue. It looks slightly orange, darker color to it than if you compare it to some of the Munich Festbiers. So 5.9% whitehead. Let's check out the aroma. A little bit timid, but there's definitely some like richness to it. I think there must be some Munich malt or something in here as well, because there's some rich, like slightly toffee-esque undertones, but mostly it's like Pilsner malt. The hops are really soft on this. It's more malty. And this is quite fresh because it's brewed for the Bergkirchweih. And when is it? I think it's in either June or May. It's maybe June. Yeah, I'm not getting loads of like aromatics. I mean, it still smells nice, but just nothing like, it doesn't smell as vibrant and singy and awesome as some of the other Franconian beers I got. But let's try it. Cheers. Ooh, it's sweet. Yeah, this is not as good as some of the best of Franconia. Unfortunately, I remember just loving this, but I was also drunk when I drank this, and I drank many. Like, there are so many different breweries, so I drank many different beers, and they were all either half liter or 1 liter. Like, you couldn't choose anything smaller, so it was like half liter, half liter, half liter, over the course of a day, but still. It's all right though. It's like crackery. It has a slight rustic Munich malty note to it. Slightly nutty. Doughy as well. Not a lot of bitterness. Very mild bitterness. I think Perle shines. It has that like old school German bitter, peppery feel. Like, Perle feels so old school, I think. And it's really spicy. Like, the only breweries I really know that wrangle it well and also have like a lot of fruit from Perle is actually Zentner, because they use a lot of Perle, I think, in a few of their beers. Their Weihnachtsbock is Perle often. It feels very clean, borderline clinical. There's also an interesting, like, weird appley note to it. It's by no means bad. It's still a nice lager. it's just not as interesting. It's similar to a Festbier from Munich. And I'll say it definitely have more character than some of the Munich Festbiers. Like some of the Munich Festbiers are almost like Helles without like much character. I think the ones I liked the most was from Hakop Shore, and that's actually also a bit unorthodox because it's somewhat close to a Märzen, if not a Märzen. So it's like a little bit different from the big 6 breweries there. And it's definitely like a Festbier, but it has maybe a touch of Märzen quality because of the malty richness. But yeah, I like it. I'm not like just super fired up. I think like an 85 or an 86, it's still, a fairly nice Festbier, maybe even an 87. I can't remember what I gave the Munich varieties. Should I can't check because I don't have my phone, but I think they were around the 80 something. I'm not sure if anything broke 90. I would tie it with the highest rated of like the Munich varieties, maybe something like that. Maybe similar to rating to what I gave the Hakop Shore. So I'll have to look up and try and give it a similar rating. But I think that's around 87, 86 maybe. I kind of feel like that's at least where I want to sit with this. I don't want to go higher. It's good, but it's not like it doesn't have the same soul and character as a lot of the other Franconian beers. But it was fun to revisit and also have a little walk down memory lane with that little fun story. I mean, I think if you want to experience a great beer festival in Germany that's, very fun and lots of different beer, and you also want to experience Franconia, timing a visit to Franconia and Bamberg would be good to do around the time of the Bergkirchweih in Erlangen. So you can experience that as well. Especially if you've already been to Oktoberfest or you don't care for the big crowds and everything at Oktoberfest, this is something to try. Although there's also big crowds here. But if you guys had a chance to try the Kitzmann Bergkirchweihbier, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a ton to Jason for helping me get this. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers in some Festbier. And see you guys in another beer review.